He noticed the door before anyone else did, tucked behind a row of empty gate seats half hidden by a pillar, a plain gray door with two words stenciled across it: staff only. No line, no cameras that he could see. Just silence, and a door that clearly wasn't meant for passengers. He glanced left, then right. The terminal was almost empty at this hour. Nobody was watching. What he didn't know, what almost no passenger ever knows, is that somewhere behind doors just like this one, in nearly every major airport in the country, sits a room that most travelers will never see. A room where thousands of items taken from passengers every single day quietly disappear. Not destroyed, not thrown away, not most of them anyway, sold. Here's what almost nobody tells you when you're standing at a security checkpoint, nervously watching your bag disappear into the X-ray machine. The agency running that checkpoint doesn't actually call it confiscation. Legally, they can't. The Transportation Security Administration has no police powers, so instead of seizing your property, they present you with a choice. You can put the item in checked luggage. You can walk it back to your car. You can hand it to a friend who isn't flying. Or if none of that works, you can voluntarily abandon it right there at the checkpoint. Most people don't even realize they had options. They just watch an agent drop their item into a bin and assume it's gone forever. But that bin is only the beginning of the journey. Every single day, checkpoints across the country collect items by the thousands. Pocketknives, multitools, oversized bottles of liquid, scissors, and yes, far more often than you'd think, firearms. Liquids, gels, and aerosols are the only category that gets thrown straight into the trash. Everything else, every knife, every tool, every confiscated souvenir gets boxed up and stored, anywhere from 1 month to 3 months, sitting quietly in a secured area most passengers never even know exists. And then the room empties out. A representative from the state's surplus property agency arrives, collects everything that has accumulated, and takes it away. From there, an abandoned pocket knife enters a completely different world: government auctions. Websites like GovDeals and Public Surplus quietly host thousands of these items, sold not as individual pieces most of the time, but in bulk lots. Buyers can search by state, by category, sometimes even by the specific airport the items came from. And here's the part that surprises people the most. None of the money from those sales goes back to the agency that took the item in the first place. If it's a federal sale, the profit goes straight into the United States Treasury's general fund, helping pay down national debt. If it's a state sale, the state keeps it. Either way, the answer is the same. The passenger who lost that pocket knife or that bottle of wine never sees a cent of what it eventually sells for. But knives and liquids are the easy part of the story. Every single day, security checkpoints across the country intercept an average of about 18 firearms. 18. Every day. In a recent year, officers stopped more than 6,500 firearms nationwide, and close to 88% of them were loaded at the time. Loaded. In a carry-on bag, heading toward a security checkpoint. When an X-ray operator spots the unmistakable shape of a firearm on the screen, local airport law enforcement is called immediately. An officer physically removes the weapon from the scanner, and what happens next depends entirely on that local agency. For the traveler, the consequences can be severe. Civil penalties can reach nearly $15,000 for a single violation. Their TSA pre-check status gets revoked for a minimum of 5 years, and depending on state law, they may face criminal charges on top of it. Most of the people caught with a firearm at a checkpoint say the same thing afterward. They simply forgot it was in the bag. Now, if you think a pocket knife or a handgun is the strangest thing that has ever slipped through a checkpoint, you are not even close. Because behind that gray door, the stories get far stranger than anyone expects. At Newark's airport, officers once found a passenger with a live turtle hidden inside their pants. Around the same time at Miami International, a different passenger was caught with 2 turtles concealed inside their clothing. Neither incident was a joke. Both were treated as serious violations of airport wildlife and safety regulations. At Denver International, officers unwrapped a bundle of paper towels tucked into a passenger's clothing and found 20 razor blades hidden inside. At an airport in California, a passenger once tried walking through security carrying 3 samurai swords of different sizes, apparently unaware that bringing a full set of bladed weapons onto a commercial flight was never going to end well. At Tampa International, agents watched a rolling suitcase pass through the X-ray machine and saw something moving inside. When they opened it, they found a 4-foot boa constrictor coiled up between a pair of shoes and a toiletry bag. In Florida, a passenger at Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport attempted something almost impossible to believe. They tried to hide a small firearm inside a raw, uncooked chicken, packed directly into their luggage. At Washington Dulles, officers opened a guitar case expecting to find a guitar. Instead, they found a set of cattle prods hidden inside. At Milwaukee's airport, a passenger carried a hand grenade through the checkpoint. It turned out to be a replica, purchased as a souvenir gift for the man's son. Non-functional or not, it was confiscated immediately, and the passenger received a formal citation. At Miami International, officers once opened a tub of strawberry-flavored drink powder and discovered dozens of hollow point bullets buried inside, more than 60 of them. At an airport in Ohio, a knife was not found in a bag or a pocket. It was found sewn directly into the lining of a passenger's purse, hidden so carefully that it would have gone unnoticed by anyone not specifically trained to look for it. At George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Texas, officers unzipped a golf bag and found a shotgun camouflaged among the clubs, complete with a cover designed to make it look exactly like a golf club head. And perhaps strangest of all, in one of TSA's own published lists of unusual annual discoveries, the agency has confirmed finding items ranging from a human skull to a genuine landmine, alongside live eels packed into carry-on luggage. Every single one of these items followed the exact same path, through the X-ray, into evidence or into a bin, and eventually, for the vast majority that were not criminal evidence, into storage behind a door exactly like the one he was standing in front of, a door most travelers walk past every single day without a second glance. So what does all of this have to do with a plain gray door marked staff only? Behind doors like that, all across the country, is where this entire process quietly begins. The sorting, the storing, the slow disappearance of thousands of items every single day. Some forgotten pocket knives, some turtles, some things far stranger than anyone standing in line that morning could imagine. He never opened that door, but now you know exactly what was probably behind it. Rows of bins, surrendered knives, tools, and forgotten liquids. Maybe, somewhere in that pile, a firearm someone swears they forgot they were carrying. The next time you're standing at a checkpoint, watching a stranger hand something over without a second thought, remember, it is not gone. It is just waiting for its next owner to place a bid. If you want to actually search for items surrendered from your own state, the 2 main platforms to check are GovDeals and Public Surplus. Just do not expect to get your exact item back. The odds, according to nearly everyone who has tried, are extremely low.